Hello, everybody, and welcome to my continuing series, 30 on 30, 1994 edition. And here with me to discuss this movie is Justin Doyle. Hello, Justin.
Hey Rob, what's up, buddy?
I'm really, really well. I've managed to watch the whole first season of The Bear today, and it's a fun show.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's got a lot of acclaim and love.
Yes.
So what is this 30 on 30 thing? Tell
So,
tell us about it.
so because I'm turning 30 this year,
You know?
I wanted to review or discuss 30 movies from 1994, and this is the second episode of the series.
Because that was the year that you were born?
Yes,
Aha. Okay. So you there's some that you have seen, and then are you doing some that you haven't seen?
yes,
Okay. Very cool. And today we're
yes,
talking
yes. This
Ace
has
Ventura.
Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. Yes, Jim Carrey was the biggest actor at this point in this year, making three big blockbuster movies, and I believe this was the first one to come out.
What when did you finally get around to seeing this movie?
I think when I was about 10, when one of my mum's friends had it and just put it on.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's a good age, maybe even a little bit older, because there is some racy humor in it. But yeah, I was 9 when this movie came out, so this was exactly right up my alley, something I wanted to see. Comedy, fun antics, and Jim Carrey.
Yes. And because you're so good at explaining stuff, go ahead and explain the plot of this movie to the people watching who have not seen this movie.
Well, if you haven't seen it, you definitely need to go check this out. I believe if you have Roku, it's available for free on there. On AMC Plus, it's streaming. But what we have here is Jim Carrey stars as Ace Ventura, who is a pet detective. He loves animals, he loves to take care of them, and there happens to be a lot of sort of animals going missing and such. So he gets hired, and that's his job. As he goes around and finds these pets, or stuck in a tree, he'll take it out for you. But yeah, it's a goofy detective specializing in animals, goes in search of the missing mascot of the Miami Dolphins, which is a dolphin. And so this does take place in Florida, and the Dolphins are doing pretty well in this season. Uh, you even have who's the Miami Dolphins? Dan
Sam,
Marino. Dan Marino, who's the quarterback at the time, make a little cameo. But yeah, so they take the dolphin away and they hire Ace Ventura to find the dolphin. And uh,
yes,
he thinks that he's a cop, even though he's not. So he freely goes around to the police station, even though they don't want him there. And he's just trying to get all the information that he can, even going into the tank and looking deeper into what happened to this dolphin. And it's funny that he's able to come up with things that the cops and the other detectives can't.
yes, yes. This film for me kicks in when he's investigating the murder and he discovers the soundproof doors and he's like, yeah, he's trying to like do like this funny yell and while opening and closing.
Yes. Yeah, so in that scene, there was a murder, and he's there because it kind of ties in with the Miami Dolphins thing. He's also sort of seeing Courtney Cox, who is one of the head of emissions over at the Dolphins
Yes,
quarters. So he's kind of working with her, and so she's able to go, and he goes with. And one of the neighbors said that, yeah, I heard him screaming, and he tried to prove that you wouldn't be able to hear him screaming, especially if the door is closed, because it's soundproof. And yeah, this movie is sort of ridiculous, but the thing that makes it all work is Jim Carrey. I mean, he is just out of bounds, doing everything that he can to get a laugh, and it works. I mean, the beginning of the movie, the very beginning, is he's a UPS delivery driver dropping off a package, little did we know that he was rescuing a dog who he got paid to find. And I mean, it's just crazy hilarity ensues there.
Yes.
And yeah, and then that's when the dolphin goes missing, and he's on the case. I don't know if this would be a sustainable thing for money wise, right? I mean, he doesn't. How is he able to pay all of his bills?
And afford all the pet bills.
Yeah, he has a ton of pets, and he's not allowed to have them at his apartment. So he has a certain way that he can have them hidden if anybody were to come over that would want them to be gone. Um, yeah, it's his landlord, and he calls him Satan, which is just hilarious.
Yes.
But he has, yeah, anything from penguins and skunks, dogs, birds. He's just a lover of animals. And he'll do anything to get that animal back to where it needs to be.
Yes. And this film also has an appearance from death metal band Cannibal Corpse.
Whoa. Uh, like they make a appearance physically, or are they just in the
Yes.
music?
Yes, the scene where he's trying to find Greg, that's the band that's playing.
Nice. Yeah, this also stars Courtney Cox and Tone Loc, Noble Willingham, Dan Marino makes a little appearance. Udo Kier, who's a good character actor. Directed by Tom Shadyac. Tom and Jim have worked together before, or
Yes.
will continue to work together. But he's the same director as The Nutty Professor. He did Bruce Almighty.
Liar Liar, Evan Almighty, Patch Adams, Dragonfly, Brian Banks, and I Am are his other movies.
Yeah, Brian Banks came out in 2018, and it was like sort of a Jesus movie-ish about a football player, black football player. Pretty good, pretty good. But yeah,
Nice.
Dragonfly, Patch Adams. Patch Adams is pretty sweet.
I've
But
always wanted to see Patch Adams.
oh, it's so good. You should do more Robin Williams flicks. That one's
Yes.
great. So yeah, he's a good comedic actor or director, Tom Shadyac. But yeah, I mean this. He drives her. Ace Ventura is driving around in his car, and his car is like beaten up because of that first guy hitting his car with the bat, and so he just drives out the window. He looks out the window while he's driving, just ridiculous. He has this nice pompadour hair that's always flying around. But my favorite scene is probably when he goes to the Udo Kier house, who's this rich man, and he goes around his sort of estate looking for Snowflake, which is the name of the dolphin, and he just goes through crazy, crazy situations to try to find this dolphin in this house. And he's doing, like Mission Impossible, like 007 stuff, but it's just so unnecessary. Like he opens up the front door or the window to climb out the bathroom and he jumps down. He's like, oh, it's going to be a far jump. Nope, just a couple feet. And then he pretends that it's like the floor is lava and climbs over the fence. It's just like everything that he didn't need to do, he did just for comedic value. And I think it really, really worked.
Yes.
He,
Definitely.
yeah, in the dolphin tank over at the Dolphin Stadium, he finds a little jewel that belongs to a Super Bowl ring. So he looks at a photo of all the people who won Super Bowl and got the ring that year, and tries to find the missing piece in the ring. So he is meeting all these NFL superstars who are big and don't want to be messed with. And he, has to try to find the ring with the missing jewel, because then he knows he'll find who
I have a
captured
random question for you.
Snowflake. Yes.
Was this your introduction to Jim?
Possibly. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Let me see if I saw anything before that. Why? Because it's an interesting way to meet him. Oh, my introduction was In Living Color. I used to watch that show a lot.
Nice.
The TV show, yeah. And it's like a sketch comedy show, like Saturday Night Live, like Mad TV.
And the band Living Colour don't make an appearance.
No, but yeah, In Living Color was really big in my household. Also saw J Lo as one of the Fly Girls, but the Wayans brothers and sisters were the ones who were behind the writing and making all the sketches. So it was something that I
It's funny you
watched.
mention it because it sounds like In Living Colour is the reason why he's in this movie because originally they wanted Rick Moranis, Judd Nelson, or Alan Rickman, and they were considering having it a female and casting Whoopi Goldberg.
For the Pet Detective?
Yeah,
Wow, that would have been interesting. Yeah, Whoopi was pretty big around that time.
yeah. And
She's
Jim Carrey helped rewrite the script, and the filmmakers allow him to improvise.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you are one of the biggest names in the comedy at that time, you kind of give them free range to help make your movie even better. And that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying. It's a silly ass movie, but Jim Carrey really elevates it and makes it the comedy that it is. It even spawned a sequel and a TV series.
and a made-for-television sequel, which I will not watch.
Yeah, nor will I. So did The Mask, which also came out in 1994. That spawned a cartoon series. Not a sequel though.
A spin-off.
Yeah, yeah, the Son of the Mask, right?
Yeah,
And then Dumb and Dumber also came out that year, which also had a prequel and a sequel.
which are both not as good as the movie.
No, and so that's crazy that the three movies in 1 year all kind of franchised out.
And only one of them has a good sequel, which is this one.
That's right, because Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls came out the next year, and it's pretty much the same thing, except he's got to go find a white bat.
Yes.
But the Ace Ventura: Pet Detective is fun for this time of year, especially because the Dolphins did so well. They actually got beat out in the wild card game last night, but they were doing really well this year. And in this movie, Dolphins are killing it.
Yes. Yes, that's
Uh,
good to hear that the Dolphins are doing very well. My team always never make the playoffs.
is that your team?
No, Colts.
Ah, the Colts. Yeah, well, they used to when what was his name was around the brother.
Peyton Manning.
Yeah, Manning. Yeah, he brought him there a couple times.
Yeah.
Um,
It says that this movie's got more of a cult following than a critical acclaim following.
yeah, so it started out by just it's only a $15 million budget, but it just didn't start out making great money at the beginning. It did well overall, especially for a $15 million budget, but opening weekend it only made $12 million, came out in February. Uh, but yeah, garnered um, $72 million here in the States, and then another 35 or so across the pond,
Yeah,
which is that's a hit. That's the reason why
yeah,
they made a sequel and had to be you know the TV show, the animated TV show.
yeah. I remember the animated show because I remember that and the Mask had a crossover.
Yes. But yeah, I mean that's a big hit, and it even made for TV sequel as Pet or Ace Ventura Junior Pet Detective, which if there ever was going to be a third one, I think it would be him and his son doing something.
I am surprised with the whole legacy sequels coming out, like Beverly Hills Cops getting a new movie, Top Gun. I've heard movies being out. So I'm surprised Ace Ventura has not had like a green light or Jim Carrey being interested.
Yeah, I don't think he is interested in regenerating what he's already done. Um, I don't know if he has the ability to be as wacky and
I was
crazy as
about
he was
to
back
say
then.
he's 61 years old now.
Yeah, and he says that he's retiring. I don't even know if he's coming back after this Sonic movie, but hopefully he's in the third one.
I'm guessing so. You can't really do it without him. He's the main villain of the franchise.
Yeah, yeah. I would think that. I mean, they can bring another villain in if he doesn't want to do this one.
True, but Sonic doesn't really have many other villains, just robots he invents.
Yeah. Did you like the time that they spent in the psychiatric facility?
Yes, because I like the way how he dresses up in that funny outfit and pretends he's insane.
Yeah, and that has become iconic. Not only this look has become iconic, but that look also is iconic. He's wearing a tutu and boots, and his hair is even crazier than normal. And he goes to a psychiatric facility because he heard of somebody that used to go there, and he wants to investigate a little bit more. And so he finds a way to sneak his way in there and look at some stuff, and that's where we find out who's done it.
Yes, and I was thinking about this a lot because it might the ending of this movie might upset a community of people.
Do you think so?
Yes, I think.
Interesting. I I think they played it well for laughs. They don't really badger them or anything. They're not like making fun of them
No,
in any way. I think they did it pretty respectfully, even in 1994. We're trying to.
even though when he finds out the whole him showering is a little bit. Come on,
Well,
people behave normally and that. There's a scene in Family Guy where Brian pukes because he finds out he had sex with a transgender woman too. Like those kind of jokes are a bit. Come on.
yeah. Maybe they did it a little bit too much in the Family Guy episode, but I think they did this. He definitely overreacted, but again, it's for comedic effect. It's not like it's
Yeah,
and back in 1994, something like kissing another guy or being with another guy was very much frowned upon, and now it's definitely more accepted, which is fantastic and it should be. But I mean, how would you react if it's definitely shocking, right? And then
yeah.
but it had been like days or whatever since he had done that thing, so it's not like burning your clothes and showering is gonna affect anything days later. But yeah, when he goes to the psychiatric facility, he learns about Finkel, who was the laces out kicker for Dan Marino for the Super Bowl, and he got shunned from Miami because he lost the game, and even though it wasn't. He thinks it was Dan Marino's fault, so this Finkel guy has something against Dan Marino, and that's why this sort of whole thing happened. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. We won't want to spoil the ending,
Yeah.
but it's definitely a ton of fun. What
Oh,
made you want to pick this movie out of all the movies that came out in 1994, or at end of the three
well, I
Jim Carrey
wanted to
movies?
talk about this one first as it was came out first, but I did want to cover all three Jim Carrey movies, and I thought this one would probably be the best one to talk about first. It's kind of a nice introduction to Jim Carrey's highlight. He's played a big part in my life growing up. I love the movies he's in.
Yeah, I mean, he's my all-time favorite actor. He's just done so many good comedies and can do great movies like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, where he's, and Man on the Moon and The Truman Show, where he's not doing pratfalls, but he's still, being being fun and funny and approachable in these other movies.
I'd say Eternal Sunshine is the one where he plays the most human character.
Yeah. Did you see the Truman Show?
Yes, and it felt, because he was still his wacky Jim Carrey self, just in more of a serious environment.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And Man on the Moon, he was trying to be Andy Kaufman, who was a bit wacky himself.
Oh yeah, and he was Andy Kaufman for the entire shoot, apparently. If
Exactly.
if you've seen the documentary,
Yes, I've seen this.
yeah, it's good, right?
Yeah, it's good.
Uh, we got a lot of good sort of quotes and sayings from this movie, like "Take care now, bye bye then," and also pulling your butt cheeks apart to talk.
Yeah. All righty then.
All right, all righty then. It happens in a lot of his movies. Even like in Bruce Almighty, it was beautiful. That
Yeah.
was another one that people started saying afterwards. He creates these sort of fun little lines and becomes part of the movie lore. People repeat it and still say it. Still say it even to now.
One of my favorite line is when he says, when he's obviously seeing Cannibal Corpse live and he's trying to find Greg and he goes, "Excuse me, is Greg here?" And he just sees the headbang. He goes, "Thank you."
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
glove. Like a glove is one of his most iconic ones.
Yeah, like a glove. Um, and yeah, that was really funny. What's the password? New England clam chowder. Is that the red or the white? Ah, never remember that. The white? Yeah, classic. Is this one of your top favorite Jim Carrey movies?
Yes, I believe it is, and I think it's my third, or I believe it's my third favorite Jim Carrey performance. I think this is the best he's done comedic.
Yeah, I would say the three that all came out in 1994 are the ones that are his most iconic, the ones that people, really go back and can watch 100 times. I've watched all three of them 100 times, and I think the movie after that maybe Liar Liar, because that was a pretty good one for Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I take it you didn't see Me, Myself, and Irene till a couple years later.
Well, it came out in 2001, I think 2000. That
Yeah,
that I already had the obsession with him, so I was watching anything that he was in, and I watched that movie in theaters. That is the best comedic performance from Jim. It's two performances.
yeah, yeah. He's good at playing characters like that.
Yeah. Um, he was nominated for American Comedy Award, did not win. Let's see who he lost to. Tom Hanks and Forrest Gump. Oh my God.
Which was the film we talked about last week.
Yeah, but he's not necessarily. I guess he's. But it says the funniest actor in a motion picture. Tom Hanks wins for Forrest Gump.
Surely
Check
Jim
this
Carrey
out.
would have won. Surely it'd be between Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, and Adam Sandler in like the 90s noughties.
Oh yeah, maybe fighting for funniest.
Yeah,
Hugh Grant was also nominated for Four Weddings and a Funeral.
which is another film I want to talk about for this series.
John Travolta for Pulp Fiction.
We are definitely talking about that.
Jim Carrey for Ace Ventura, and then Tim Allen with the Santa Claus.
Okay, I might have to squeeze that in.
The funniest actress in a motion picture went to Jamie Lee Curtis for True Lies.
Oh, I love True Lies.
Emma Thompson was nominated for Junior, Jodie Foster for Maverick, Shirley MacLaine for Guarding Tess, Whoopi Goldberg for Karina, Uma Thurman for Pulp Fiction, and Madeline Kahn for Mixed Nuts.
I love
Interesting.
Madeline Kahn.
Oh yeah, I mean she is one of the top. He was nominated. Oh, he won Blockbuster Entertainment Award for favorite actor and favorite male newcomer.
Oh, check this out. He won the 1995 London Film Critics Circle for
For
this
Ace Ventura.
and the Mask.
Oh,
And for some
nice.
reason, I don't know whether this is to Raspberry's being bad, but he received he was nominated for Worst New Star, and let's see who he lost to because none of his three movies are bad.
No. And how can he be like winner of the best newcomer and then also worst newcomer?
Anna Nicole Smith won for Naked and 33 plus 3.5, the vinyl insult.
Okay.
I'm not gonna. I don't want to shit on Anna Nicole Smith too much, since
No.
obviously she sadly passed, and
Yeah.
I'm not seen the third Naked Gun, so I can't really speak for it.
He also won favorite movie actor for the Kids' Choice Awards,
Oh, sweet.
and it won favorite movie.
Oh, it was
Uh,
nominated. Lion King won.
um, oh, the
How did,
nominee. Yeah,
how
The
did
Lion King
Rosie,
one. Okay.
how did Rosie O'Donnell beat Sally Field for Forrest Gump and Sandra Bullock for Speed?
Yeah, I don't know.
And it
Uh,
was nominated for the MTV Movie Award for Best Comedic Performance.
yeah,
And he lost
and
to Robin Williams, which, again,
for Mrs. Doubtfire, one of the biggest movies ever.
yeah. I'm surprised them two never made a movie together, Robin and Jim.
Yeah. Whoopi Goldberg was nominated for Sister Two, Back in the Habit. Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit. Pauly Shore for Son-in-Law. Have you seen that movie?
I've not seen many Pauly Shore movies.
There, some of them are tough. That one's all right. And
Yeah.
then he was nominated for a Razzie Award for Worst New Star.
He lost to Anna Nicole Smith.
That's the one. Okay.
Yeah.
Worst picture that year was Color of Night.
Never heard of it.
No, me neither. Worst screen couple: Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt.
I love Interview with the Vampire. That's definitely one for this series.
That's funny. Oh my God. Rosie O'Donnell won for Worst Supporting Actress for Car 54, Where Are You, Exit to Eden, and The Flintstone for 3 movies.
Wow.
But yeah, there you go. Wow. Yeah. Well, so it didn't get a lot of accolades, but back then I think the Kids' Choice Awards were pretty big. The MTV Movie Awards were pretty big. So those are high
Yeah.
awards for
Is it
sort of
just
this.
is it just me, or do I think that, or is it just me, or is Ace Ventura like on cocaine or drugs?
Well, Jim Carrey or Ace Ventura?
Um,
um,
both.
so that's a good question. I do think Ace Ventura is really just high on life, right? He kind of just wants to be the best at what. I mean, he's the only one who does his job. I don't even know if you can go look in a Yellow Pages and see that there's a pet detective out there. So it's just sort of a made up thing. Um, but yeah, I think Jim Carrey maybe, but not Ace Ventura. He just loves life. He's just really, tries to make it fun and always. Um, but it would, if you did put anybody else in this film, like even Whoopi Goldberg or whoever, it wouldn't work as much because the performance that was needed for this movie was a pratfalling, fun, interesting. Why is he doing that? So weird and hilarious. You needed
The
that
only
character.
other person I could think of who could do that is Martin Short, and I can't see Martin Short being as wacky as Jim Carrey.
Yeah, definitely not. He's Martin Short's great. I mean, he's good with what he does. He's a character. He does characters. He does that Jiminy Glick and stuff, but he's not. It wouldn't be the same. This is definitely a Jim Carrey performance, a movie that
Yeah.
is iconic. Wouldn't work. I mean, it's just too silly. What happens in this movie is just a little too silly.
Yeah.
But if you got a good performance behind it, then it becomes a cult classic.
Yes, definitely. And this is one of Jim's best.
Yeah. Sitting at 6.9 on IMDb. Like I
Which is
said, well,
which is pretty good for a film that looks like it started off with mixed reviews and then slowly became popular once Jim Carrey kind of rose more to fame.
yeah, I agree. I think 6.9 is good with it's 321,000 votes, so not it's not a lot, but it's still a good amount. Like I said, made 107 million worldwide, and then 48% from Rotten Tomatoes, with 57% from the audience. It says Jim Carrey's twitchy antics and gross out humor are on full bombastic display, which is great news for fans of his, particularly brand of comedy, but like likely unsatisfying for anyone else. So I guess you have to be a fan of Jim and like his comedy to like this movie, which is kind of true, but I think you can show it to anybody. I say start with kids.
Yeah. Yes, I think when we're 9 or 10, when we're first when we're first visiting with movie, like stuff like what we're thinking now, the result does not go through our heads. We're just thinking, oh, this is just a silly movie.
Exactly. And it is. It is very, very silly, but a lot of fun.
Exactly. And even though it's not an award winning movie, it's still fun to watch. And it's fun than most of the movies that win awards.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, most movies don't win awards, only some do. So
Yeah.
uh, give this one
Because
a
I have
view.
seen this movie more than The English Patient.
Oh, yeah. I mean, rewatchability is on, a lot of 90s comedies have a lot of good rewatchability to them.
Yeah.
Um,
More than Naughty's comedy, because I rewatched Zoolander recently, and God, that movie hasn't aged well at all.
I've been saying all along, it's one of the worst comedies ever. No doubt about it.
No,
Talk
you're right
about a
on that one.
talk about a character that is just not good.
You like Ben Stiller and other things, don't you?
Oh yeah, yeah. I like him when he's sort of playing more of a straight man in a comedy, like uh, Meet the Parents and Along Came Polly. Like he's really good at making others look good in comedies.
Yeah,
But no,
because he's got Owen Wilson or Philip Seymour Hoffman to be the silly one.
yeah. Um, but he's good. He's good when in serious roles too. Like the Walter Mitty's pretty good,
Yeah, I've heard about that.
and Greenberg, Noah Baumbach film, pretty
Yeah,
good.
because they worked. Jim and Ben worked together 2 years later, but there was a missed opportunity. Ben Stiller should have played Matthew Broderick's role in that movie.
Mm. Yeah. Well, he directed the movie, so he needed more time to pay attention to that.
He should have done that with Zoolander, got somebody else to play Zoolander and just focused on the directing.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Um, they also worked together again in Anchorman 2
Yes, they did.
because they all have cameos,
Yes, they do.
which is great.
That's probably the only good bit of the film, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Will Smith and Jim Carrey in the same movie. Hallelujah.
Yes, yes, definitely.
All right. Any last words on Ace Ventura?
Uh, I just think it's an overall good comedy. I don't think it meant to offend transgendered people back in 1994. Again, I just think they were just trying to play it more for comedic effect, and I get why the community would be offended, and I wouldn't mind a transgender person explaining to me why they think the portrayal is wrong, and I'll be fine with it. But In my opinion, I just think this is just a funny film to switch your head off to.
I mean, there has been way worse things said and done in movies than what happened in this.
Exactly.
This is nothing compared to what even is shown in movies now about hatred against that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, look, be who you want to be. That's all. And I think Ace Ventura would say the same thing. Be who you want to be.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
don't
He would.
just don't
He
shove your tongue down my throat.
would. Good one.
Cool.
Cool.
What's coming up? What's going to be the third installment of 30 on 30?
The next one I'm going to be doing is by myself because I do not like recommending people the film Once Were Warriors because of its graphic violence and graphic violence towards women. So I'm going to be doing that one myself.
Once Were Warriors?
Yeah, we watched it for a review on mine the other
Yeah.
couple of years ago, and you didn't like it.
Yeah.
It was too violent.
Yes. I do. I was like, why do I know that movie? Yeah. Yeah, but it's good. It's something to talk about,
Yes,
worth
definitely.
talking about.
Definitely.
Cool. Well, that'll be fun.
Yes.
Tamira Morrison.
Yes. And so thank you for coming on to do this. I'm
Thanks
planning
for
to
having
do
me.
Aston Dumb and Dumber on this series, so if you're about, you're more than welcome to come on board with those two.
I'd love to.
I think Josh is joining me for the mask, and my friend Sean is joining me for Dumb and Dumber, so you can join those ones as well.
Cool. I love them all.
Sweet. And yes, let me know your thoughts on Ace Ventura: Pet Detective in the comment down below, and give me a like and subscribe for more videos, for more to catch more videos on me. I'm gonna try and get the Fleming film show back and rolling soon, and I will be revealing my top 10 films whenever Justin and Cody are ready to.
Yeah, I'm close. I'm getting there.
Yes.
I do have a top 10 from what I've seen. I just have some that I still need to see. Like I want to see Snow on
Society of the Snow.
Society of the Snow. Yeah, and I've already seen Oppenheimer, and let's see what else is out there. What any ones that you haven't seen yet that you still want to see?
Blackberry, Poor Things, Color Purple, American Fiction, Zone of Interest, and The Iron
Yeah,
Claw.
I want to see American Fiction too. Boy in the Heron, I still need to see. Anatomy of
That's
a
good.
Fall.
That one's all right.
Yeah, that movie Fallen Leaves is getting a
I'm,
lot of
I'm just
love.
hoping how Condi gets nominated for Best Cinematography, so you actually check it out.
Mm-hmm. It's possible. Passages I want to see.
It was nominated for a cinematography award, I believe, recently.
Oh yeah.
So it has a strong chance now.
1001 I've heard is really good. I want to see
I
that.
watched that today.
And did you like it?
It was okay.
Did you like the performance from Tiana Taylor?
Yes, that was the best thing about it.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, check out Worth of You Movies. I'm at Worth of You Movies on all the things. I'm reviewing or releasing my Wonka review today.
Nice.
So check that out. Saw that movie last night. And,
one of my favorites of the year.
Oh, good. Very good. Cool. That was fun.
Yes.
Thanks for having me on, buddy.
It's
Good
always
to
a
see
pleasure,
you.
Justin, to have you on. Always a pleasure. And yes, next week I will be talking about Once Were Warriors.
Once Were Warriors. Oh, and then weren't you also one of the episode of Josh's thing?
Yes, I was on an episode of a podcast Josh is making called Disney Delights and Disney Disasters. And I've done the Disney Delight Meet the Robinsons, and Justin's doing the Disney Disaster on Turning Red. He also dislikes that movie just as much as Josh does.
But possibly for different reasons. I don't know what his reasons are.
I reckon it will be for different reasons.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, Soul, Turning Red, and Luca are all being re-released in theaters, so go check them out. Well, not re-released, finally released in theaters because it was only on
I
Disney
wish
Plus.
my
So
cinema was doing Soul.
yeah, that's the first one, then Turning Red, and then Luca after. So I will be going to the theater to see Luca.
Nice.
Cool, buddy. Thanks for having me.
Cool.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you. You too, mate. Right. Bye, everyone. Bye, guys. Bye,
We'll
Justin.
see you guys later. Bye.
See you later. Bye.